are here to talk about AEW WrestleDream coming up this Sunday from Beer Kid YEG and here in Edmonton. And it's also from the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. That features quite a bit into the card here, as we do have now, I got to look over this after the latest announcements. We definitely have 3 people that are Seattle natives that are going to be participating in the event. And this is supposed to be a tribute show to Antonio Anoki, who recently passed. Wasn't able to do this during the COVID era, so I'm glad that AEW is able to do this now. And they are bringing in quite a few stars from New Japan over to compete on this card. And as of right now, and this is 8:50 Mountain Time, 10:50 Eastern on Saturday, we got 14 matches to talk about. So I think let's skip the pleasantries and let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of these cards here. So I might as well just go with the breaking news right off the bat here for tonight. On the 0 hour, the pre-show, which now starts at 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 Mountain, we have Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Diamante, and Mercedes Martinez in an 8-person mixed tag match against Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billy Starks. This Athena and Billy minion teacher scenario that's been going on with them is absolutely fantastic. Keith Lee has a very nice Tekken gimmick going on, or at least he did. He's primarily been on Rampage and Collision, which up in Canada is a bit of a pain to get. So, but we all know how good Keith Lee is. And then Kojima took on CM Punk at Forbidden Door 1. Did an absolutely fantastic, Forbidden Door 2 in that case. Did an absolutely fantastic job. He's been around America quite a bit. Then you got Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty from Shane Taylor Promotions. Diamante, Mercedes Martinez. This is an ROH showcase match, to say the least. Because I would say at least 6 of the 8 people on this in this match are ROH regulars. I could see Athena getting the win if the women are going to get the pinfall in this match. Or I would see a guy like Shane Taylor getting the victory and getting that extra little bit of momentum as well. So personally, I think it's going to be a little bit more important to get that momentum for Taylor, because he just lost to Samoa Joe at All Out. And sort of helps when we can bounce him back a little bit here and also set up Lee Moriarty a little bit more. So give the victory there to Shane Taylor and company. Then as well, in the ultimate David versus Goliath match, and one that's probably going to dictate a little bit about what's going to happen during the main show here, we got Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne going one-on-one. Luchasaurus, now the former TNT champion, thanks to some shenanigans by Christian Cage there in a triple threat match with Darby Allin. To me, this feels like it should be Luchasaurus, very straightforward. Nick Wayne, while he is the hometown guy, I guess that makes it 4 here at this case. We'll get into the others here in a moment. But Nick Wayne is brand new. He's on pay-per-view. It would take a lot, and I mean a lot of interference, for Nick Wayne to get this win over Luchasaurus. And I also think this might play into what we're going to see during our main event tonight, but we'll get to it. So I'm picking Luchasaurus there. Then you got Josh Barnett and Claudio Castagnoli. This came out of nowhere, and this came to be, oh my God, we are going to get a very, very good match here. Like, Josh Barnett, I know he's supposed to be here, I think it was the last Forbidden Door he was supposed to work, and then he ended up with COVID or whatnot. Either way, Josh Barnett, Claudio Castagnoli, you know there's going to be some strikes. You know there's going to be a lot of power. You know there's going to be a lot of finesse in this matchup. And you know Claudio just wants to show off, and he does it very well in what he does. My opinion here, we're probably going to get Claudio with a victory because he's eaten a couple losses lately, including losing the ROH championship to Eddie Kingston, who we'll talk about later on here. I would think Claudio might get the win here, but also this might be one of the few matches where a New Japan star actually wins. So could go either way. My pick's still going to be Castagnoli on this. And in one of the, what I would have to say is probably the most straightforward, but probably the most looked forward to match on the pre-show itself. We got the Mighty Don't Kneel TMDK of Shane Hayes, Mikey Nichols, Bad Dude Tito taking on the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn for the AEW World Trios Championships. Now, TMDK, absolutely fantastic team out of New Japan here, and I think they might start to become part of members of the Callis family, but that's something we could talk about later on here. My personal opinion here is the Acclaimed is going to keep their championships. I can't see them changing titles, creating new champions on a pre-show. As much as I'd love to see it, I think it's pretty much going to be a straightforward over and done here for the Acclaimed here. So, but looking into this matchup here, TMDK and my preview partner here, Andre C, unfortunately isn't able to make it tonight. He would be going over the moon about TMDK, because the fact we're going to get the fourth member of TMDK coming up here, what very well could have been our main event but isn't. It's going to be very exciting to see what Hayes, Nichols, and Tito can do as a group against the AEW Trios champions. Like I said, I think it's straightforward. The Acclaimed are going to win this, but I could be wrong. It depends how long they're going to stick out here as well, too. So, but let's get on to the main card here, because we got 9 matches to go, and honestly, it is a very, very stacked match here. So, stacked card. Let's get into the basically the cluster for the night. The Young Bucks taking on the Guns, taking on the Lucha Brothers, taking on Orange Cassidy and Hook for a future AEW tag team title shot. Guaranteed shot. Now this one here is a little confusing due to Moxley's injury last week at when Phoenix ended up winning the championship there at Grand Slam. Because I would have picked the Lucha Brothers quite easily here to take on... sorry. A little bit of asthma act up there, sorry. Would have taken on FTR rather easily. That would have been a dream matchup for a lot of people. But now with the fact that Phoenix is the international champion, having that 2 titles on people, while it's nothing new to AEW or Ring of Honor or New Japan, between Omega, even Kingston right now has 2 titles. MJF has 2 titles right now. I don't think they want to continue that trend going forward. I would almost throw this one as a wild card out to Orange Cassidy and Hook, except conventional wisdom has them winning. Since Orange Cassidy won on Wednesday, you don't want to see the same groups win on at the pay-per-view. So I would think probably Orange Cassidy and Hook, but I'm going to make my pick with the Guns here so we can get a rematch for the titles after they ended up losing them to FTR in the first place here. And the kind of rematch that they didn't get after they won the championships, they're going to have to earn it. So, and with this new makeup of the Bullet Club Gold with these guys, I think it's very important that we get them another match in here. So I'm going to throw it out there and just throw the Guns as my solid pick, but look for Orange Cassidy and Hook to get the victory here, just for the Orange Cassidy is a hell of a wrestler and has a lot of stories to go on mode here. Then from there, let's go to a match that just got created on Wednesday here. We got Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta. Now, this is one where Wheeler Yuta was coming into the locker room to just say, I respect you and I apologize for not respecting what you do in the ring. And Ricky was having none of it and being his cocky self again, which led to this matchup here. Personally, I feel that Ricky has to continue the momentum to get up top here. And Wheeler seems to be the pickup boy for losses here in the BCC. It'd be nice to see him change and get the victory in here and move up, but I don't see him going anywhere in this position right now. It's sort of the writing's gone a little stale, other than being Claudio's tag partner for the most part. I would give it to Ricky Starks. I think it's most obviously he's got to get this match, because not only did Starks lose the rivalry to Danielson, he didn't win a match in it. So I think it's important to get him a victory, get him back in shape here. And I can't see it going any other way for them. Let's move on for the dual title defense of Eddie Kingston as he defends the Ring of Honor World Championship and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship against Katsuyori Shibata. This is a freaking dream match for a lot of people when it comes to Japanese wrestling. After seeing the work that Eddie Kingston did during the G1 and just how everything just picked up spectacularly for him there, I got a feeling that Kingston's probably going to retain this, mainly because Shibata and New Japan don't get along that well. Maybe you haven't heard, but it seems like that's a bit of a case here. So, politics aside, you're not going to have Eddie's first real title defense be a loss. And I don't think they're going to be... I didn't think they needed to do a transitional champ between Shibata and Castagnoli, so I think Eddie Kingston wins this and we move on rather easily here. Let's go to, speaking of tag matches, let's get all three tag matches out of the way here, all together here. So for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, Maxwell Jacob Freeman is going to defend the championships by himself against Vincent and Dutch of the Righteous. Now, I've heard many people go around and say, oh, there's no way they're going to get Vincent to pin Max, or they're never going to get Dutch to pin Max. I got a feeling we're going to hear some fancy... There's a fancy word that they use these days. It's called shenanigans. I think there's going to be shenanigans all over this match. And Adam Cole is not going to be there to help out MJF. I honestly feel that the Righteous will come out victorious here, thanks to some crooked shenanigans. And MJF is going to have to go to Adam Cole and tell him he failed him. And friends don't fail friends. So that's going to be a very pretentious situation there, to say the least. It's going to be extremely tough. But I know people are saying it's pretty much going to be straightforward. Neither one of these guys is going to pin MJF. I don't think it's that straightforward anymore. But it will be good storytelling one way or the other, no matter what here. So next, let's go to the FTR taking on Aussie Open here for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They're reliving a match that happened in New Japan and was an absolutely banger of a match for the New Japan Tag Team Championships, or IWGP, whichever way you want to call it. This one here, I think, FTR is probably going to retain unless Aussie is part of our ROH basically roster now. I don't see the titles changing because they got some bigger matches that they want to do with FTR yet. So keep those titles on them. I think we're going to have a major title alteration here coming around at Full Gear, because that's out in LA. Out here in Seattle, it's a tribute show. Everything stays kosher. We might get one title change, but I'm going to talk about that very later on here. Yeah, FTR straightforward, going to win this one here. So, now that we're halfway through the card, just want to remind everybody once again, you can take a look at the poster there just to my left here. Beercade YEG is hosting a pay-per-view watch party, courtesy of Backbreaker Video, of the AEW WrestleDream card, 10544 82nd Avenue. There's always drink specials, the pizza's to die for, and it's going to be pretty straight. It's going to be a fun time. Because you know what? If you get bored of the matches, you go play video games. I mean, that's how I usually get better at Street Fighter 3 all the time. But let's move on to a couple singles matches without titles on the line, but a lot of pride in both of them. First, let's go with, they're both involving hometown boys here. So I was going to say, let's start with a hometown guy, but we got hometowns in both. Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. I know we were talking about this earlier up on the card during the pre-show, that TMDK are going to be a part of the pre-show. And this is the Ultimate member, the New Japan Pro Wrestling TV champion, is going to be taking on basically the best technical wrestler in AEW right now, Bryan Danielson. I would say he is the guide, the leader, the benchmark for everybody that you have in AEW right now. And this is a match that we've been waiting to see for years. We were supposed to get this at Forbidden Door 1, and we just couldn't get it because of Danielson's injury. With that being said, Danielson is at home as well. Do we get to the point where the hometown guy has to win in this one? Or does the guy that apparently wants to put over everybody put over Zack Sabre Jr.? Now, in my opinion, I think they're going to go for about 25 minutes. And I think there might actually be an upset here. This might be one where everybody is cheering their way to the no end. But I think Zack Sabre Jr.'s got a shot here. I think Danielson, more often than not, will want to put the other guy over. And could you imagine making Danielson lose in Seattle? Like, to me, that we're all talking about the one person that's going to, like, what's the record going to be, the hometown people? It's not going to go 4-0. There's no way. And we already talked about Nick Wayne not being victorious on the pre-show. So I think we're going to go 2-2 here, which is spoiling a little bit for the further parts here, but I think Sabre Jr. wins this one, actually. And then from there, we got another hometown boy, Swerve Strickland, who's going to be taking on Hangman Adam Page. And the only thing, there's only a couple things I can say about this right now. Number one, you got to get the dance going. And as well, we're going to have to see Swerve Strickland has to win this feud with Hangman Page. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that we are going to see Swerve Strickland beat Hangman Page, not just because it's for the spot, by the way. I think this is the point where they need to start getting Swerve Strickland in a position where he can be the top person in the company. And a win over Hangman Page is almost what you would consider a gatekeeping win. And a gatekeeping win in this case is getting him right into the AEW Heavyweight Championship picture. So I would give a complete kudos to Swerve Strickland, and I would give I'd be dumbfounded if he doesn't win this one. If Page wins this one, everybody's going to not only confused, but I think unless they tell us some kind of story to go with it, some crazy shenanigans, which normally would happen the other way. I don't see it happening any other way here, but all right. We got Chris Jericho, the Golden Elite of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, taking on the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay. Now, the Callis family's been getting a one-up constantly here as we've been going through all this. And for me, it just doesn't... it doesn't really make sense for them to continue getting their comeuppance this long into a feud. I got a feeling if this is a tribute to Anoki show that we're going to get Ibushi to get the pin. Probably at Takeshita. Because I think Sammy's getting built up to another level. I don't think Ospreay wants to take a pin. I really don't think Ibushi wants to take one. Jericho, he probably could take one, but that whole side, I can't see them losing again. So I'm going to take Chris Jericho, the Golden Elite, in this one, just because I can't see the Callis family getting over again. Like it just doesn't seem right. Let's see which ones I got left. I got the two singles title matches. One that's going to actually main event the card that a lot of people are surprised about here. Let's go to the other one first here. Let's go. Chris Statlander is defending the TBS Championship against Julia Hart. Now, they're hyping up Julia Hart's winning streak at 27-0. They got Brody King at ringside with her. Is going to cause nothing but chaos. Julia Hart is bringing in some numbers when it comes to Collision, whether it comes to Rampage, even on Dynamite. She is bringing in the numbers for the execs. I know we're not supposed to talk about viewership numbers when we're talking about wrestling. Just talk about the damn matches and that. But you can't deny that you want to get somebody with more screen time a position where they're going to be able to show off more screen time. So with all that being said, Chris Statlander is not losing that title right now. There's too much riding on Chris right now, unless there's something going on with Chris. I think Chris is going to have it probably at least to Revolution, if not further. The only hiccup I could see in there is Full Gear, but we could talk about that next Wednesday on our weekly AEW sidecast. So as part of Dynamite every Wednesday night, so make sure you check that out. Statlander's going to win this one straight up here, so. And then our main event, which Tony Khan announced late this week, sorry. Christian Cage defending the TNT Championship against hometown boy Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Now, there are so many different factors from the outside coming in. I'm going to ignore those outside factors and focus on what's actually on the card right now. To me, this looks like a very stereotypical, straightforward 2 out of 3 falls match with a very unique ending from the beginning of the show. Hear me out here. My prediction, in a sense here, will be Christian Cage gets disqualified on Darby Allin for using some kind of object, but it's to the point where he's knocked out where he gets the pin for a second fall right away, so it's that quick 1-2 punch, thank you very much, goodbye. So now we got the third fall coming up all together. And this will get up to an epic climax where Darby will have the opportunity to win. But I honestly feel that Nick Wayne is going to be the guy to turn on Darby Allin. The hometown boy saying that, as much as you were my mentor, you never helped me when I needed it the most. In my debut, where were you? Pay-per-view debut, sorry. And yeah, that's going to be... I think Christian Cage is going to retain. The only other way that this could go, and like I said, we could bring in the outside factors, and I'll just throw it out there right now. If Adam Copeland shows up, then I got a feeling that Christian is not going to retain the championship because Darby is going to get help from Adam, and then Christian and Adam can go at it. I don't know what they're going to call him if he comes in, but there's too much smoke for there not to be fire. I think we've learned more and more so these days that if there's smoke, there's fire with a lot of these rumors going around. More so than not, they've been somewhat factual in some case. So, all right, folks, there you have it. A preview of the AEW WrestleDream card coming up this Sunday at Beercade YEG here in Edmonton, 10544 82nd Avenue. Stop by. We are going to have the doors open at 5, so unfortunately we're going to miss the first half hour of the 0 hour. We're actually going to get an hour of the 0 hour, but we will get everything on the TVs as fast as humanly possible. And it's going to be a fun time. There's great drinks. There's great company. It's going to be a great time for everybody here. So, but with that, this is MikeTheRef, and I want to say thank you to everybody for stopping by here. We'll talk a little bit more about the wrap-up of the AEW WrestleDream card on the next AEW Dynamite sidecast here coming up this Wednesday. As always, we are here every Wednesday talking wrestling, enjoying times, and usually the comments go right off the wall with something. So, but yeah, other than that, want to say thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you all here on Sunday night down at Beercade YEG. Take care, everybody.